Excellent. All right. Thank you guys all for your patience. Once again, this is Ian Schaefer here with UDA Technologies, and we are ready now to dive into our Amazon hosting webinar covering the QuickBooks application and some of the hosting options that we have available there. Of course, we're going to be touching on ConstructionSuite a little bit as well as QuickBooks. We're also going to kind of cover a few additional topics as well. But before we dive into anything, I want to introduce you to Holly Gibson. She's one of our top sales consultants here at UDA Technologies. Holly, why don't you tell them about a little bit of the excitement that we have here and some of the work that we've done with QuickBooks in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's really exciting to see so many of you taking some time out of your afternoon to be with us. Like Ian mentioned, we really have a lot of excitement in the office with our new hosting services division. We've seen it be a really popular option for our clients since we launched it back a couple of months ago, and so we're excited to bring some more information to you guys about that today. Our company, UDA, we've been around for about 20 years, and over that time we've been always QuickBooks Gold developers. We've always had a focus on making sure that our software programs integrate with QuickBooks because we've seen that our client base, really that's what they're using for their accounting solution, and so we want to be able to provide an outstanding integration. What we've also seen, though, over the years is that those same customers really want a way to host their QuickBooks online and are looking for the right solution and not really finding something specific to their industry available to them. And so really we're excited to be able to now offer that ideal hosting setup for QuickBooks for people in that construction industry and something that's going to work well with their other software programs like our ConstructionSuite platform too. So we've, like I said, gotten a huge amount of response. It's just been tremendous over the last couple of months and are really excited to show you some of what we can do. We found that it is a better, faster, and more affordable option for our clients than anything else available in the marketplace today. So we're excited about the value that we've been able to put together for our customers and for your customers.
Absolutely. And I was actually just taking a look through the list today as well. It looks like we were pretty close. It does look like we've got a great mix of attendees today. We definitely have some advisors in the crowd, which is amazing to see. It does look like we have some current ConstructionSuite and ConstructionOnline users as well, and a few people who are looking for solutions, which is really, really nice to see as well. So, of course, we'll be diving into some of these options and everything like that. For the moment, though, I believe Holly is actually going to go take off to help expand our team. She has somebody new here that she's going to go speak with. For the other people joining us today, I also have another sales consultant here, Jordan. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to talk to him already. If not, he's got us covered today for some additional input. I've also got Sydney working on the keyboards today. Looks like she's going to be trying to keep up with any questions that you guys might have, any topics of conversation or anything like that as well. And once again, I am here, Ian Schaefer, as a UDA product specialist, also a senior, a QuickBooks Pro advisor. I don't know if the senior Pro advisor thing works, although I am an old guy here in the office, comparatively speaking. But as we dive into this today, I'd like to start by kind of once again touching on the history for UDA Technologies and how we've come to partnering with Amazon. Because for me, it's been a really interesting story, and I've actually been with UDA Technologies now for almost 10 years, and I've seen a lot of opportunities for cloud hosting solutions show up in that time. Of course, today we have ConstructionSuite installed, and we have QuickBooks on this cloud-hosted server. And this is a little application that we have called AWS Connect that brings us in. And this is the newest in our kind of evolution of cloud hosting software solutions. With UDA Technologies, we've managed to partner a lot with companies like Cloud9 or Right Networks or MyQuickCloud, and they all offer excellent solutions for cloud hosting. What we find has always been the hurdle working with some of these organizations are the limited nature of the service they provide. Right Networks, for example, is a little exclusive in what they'll allow you to host, and even after about 5 years of asking, I don't think they've ever put ConstructionSuite on there, which is their choice. They are their own hosting companies. With Cloud9, they were actually an official partner with us for a number of years. But one of the hurdles that we ran into with working with Cloud9 is while they do provide excellent service and their own resources for everything, the amount of time that it would take to sometimes get the updates in place was a little bit much, more than I might like. And so we started looking at cloud hosting solutions several years ago, and we've gone through a number of iterations. We've worked with some of the Microsoft hosting solutions. We've tried to create our own hosting solutions. And what we've discovered, we even tried one that was completely web-based, which was interesting. But what we've discovered is that the overwhelmingly best solution provider in the industry, the gold standard, I think is how you put it, Jordan, is Amazon. They've got hosting solutions available worldwide, truly worldwide. So we've got coverage anywhere on the globe. And we do have clients covering over 75 countries at this point, so that was very, very important for us. We also noticed that some of the speed and performance for these cloud-hosted solutions blows us away. The vast majority of these applications that we're working with right now, in some cases, are faster on the AWS hosting solution than they are on our own local workstations. For example, some of you who may be working with ConstructionSuite may notice that the load times for a lot of these files that I'm opening up that we're going to be working with today tends to be a lot better here than on your own computers. And some of that might be because you guys are using the same computer that you were using 5-10 years ago. Maybe some of you guys are in an area that's got slow download speeds or something like that. But whatever it is, the Amazon hosting solution tends to provide a lot of answers because everything is going to be calculated or everything is managed on Amazon hardware. They provide the computers, we provide the interface, you guys just do your work. And it is that easy. One of the other benefits that you'll find in working with this system is we are a software company. We've been a software company for 20 years. We've been working with QuickBooks as a gold certified developer now for about 15 years, and we understand both of these applications. We also know how to run updates for both of these applications, and we manage most of the IT and the product installations and supports support. That's not plural. And so as you guys are going through and you're working with the applications, all of this information will always be up to date. We're actually going to be going through and managing this update process for you and going from there as well. Now, along those lines, I was going to speak or turn the mic over to my colleague Jordan for just a moment as we kind of organize some of the additional information. Jordan, myself and Holly have both mentioned our exposure to QuickBooks, like how long we've been working with it and everything like that. You've also been one of the top sales consultants now for a while. It might be maybe just a short while, but you've been working with our clients so far. What kind of adoption do you see with our current client base? And like how many of them would you guess are using QuickBooks? And how successful would you say they've been with QuickBooks so far?
Well, as it is with the construction industry, you can see it in the proportion of clients that we have using QuickBooks. It's the majority, and it's the majority by a long shot. I don't remember the specific stat off the top of my head, but I have seen it before. It is somewhere over 80%. I would say that's pretty safe to say for our client base as well, which is pretty fantastic. QuickBooks, excuse me?
And the client base, by the way, that he's referring to is a little over 500,000 users at this point.
Right.
The 80% number, just to give you guys some numbers here to work with, we're looking at, if 80% is close, which I think it is, you're looking at about 400,000, which is a lot of QuickBooks. And sorry to cut you off. Go.
No, you're fine. And what I've seen is that used well and used to really keep track of your company's financials, QuickBooks is an invaluable tool. There are plenty of times where clients have come to us specifically because of our expertise in integrating with and making their lives easier and their bookkeepers and accountants' lives easier just from our history and experience with interacting and developing applications that run alongside QuickBooks.
Absolutely. And one of the other things that we provide is something a little unique for construction accounting firms as well. We provide a lot of experience organizing the information that's going to show up in QuickBooks. And I don't mean just the customers or the jobs or anything like that. We have experience, again, working with about 500,000 people, 500,000 users, organizing items lists and tying them into a chart of accounts set up or constructed by an accountant. We have the ability with any of the UDA products for that matter, to tie into existing structures as they have been set up in QuickBooks so that we can make sure that we maintain all of the reporting and the documentation and all of the standards that have already been put in place. What this means is we can take advantage of as much or as little as has been set up in QuickBooks already. And as we move forward with that information, we can also provide that as a kind of a one-off or a standalone application here for the hosting services as well. Now, again, what we're looking at in this hosting solution, we are providing something, again, that's been in hot demand now probably since QuickBooks Online was first talked about or conceptualized. We're looking at cloud hosting for programs like QuickBooks and ConstructionSuite and just about anything else that you, our customers, or you, the pro advisors, have a need for your customers to host and use in the cloud. This is a full server that we've got it set up, and all of our Amazon hosted servers are full computers in the cloud. And what this means is that anything that you guys need to install can be put on here. Just give us a call and we can talk about the different possibilities. Most of the mission critical applications will be found on the cloud, and you can put them on this server so that they all talk. Now, this is also something that ConstructionSuite does a little different, or the UDA family of applications does a little different than most management softwares. We're able to tie in directly to QuickBooks and exchange information two ways. We can send details to QuickBooks, we can pull information back, so we can provide job costing in a way that's a little bit unique for a desktop project management solution. It also means that while ConstructionSuite and QuickBooks would be located on the same computer, that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody is going to have access to both. Of course, this is a cloud-hosted computer. It is a server, so we can actually limit who gets access to which applications. You can take this a step further as well within the QuickBooks software and set up additional users and passwords so that different people are capable of doing different things. I find this is really, really useful because, of course, as you have a project manager coming in here and working on things, maybe they need to work with purchasing, but they don't need to do a balance sheet or a P&L report or anything like that. So you'll be able to set up your users in QuickBooks so that different people are capable of doing different things. We can also limit who sees which application. So when, again, if Jack perhaps were to log in at this point, Jack may not see QuickBooks. Maybe Jack just needs to focus on his scheduling tools like OnPlan perhaps or something like that. Or maybe he just has a handful of Excel spreadsheets that he needs to have access to. Putting them on a cloud-hosted server makes them easily accessible and usable from any device that he might need to use to connect. This means that we support Macs now with the cloud-hosted services. It's the same license of QuickBooks that you would use on the Windows computer, but now you can access it from a Mac, from the Windows computers, from the server here, from your phone, maybe a tablet or a Surface Pro on a job site. All of this accessibility, and it's that same license or collection of licenses available to you here. You'll also find that most of the information available within QuickBooks is going to be set up ahead of time so that you guys will be able to get into and get moving successfully should you need to. Now, a lot of you who have worked with QuickBooks in the past probably know that QuickBooks gives you a default items list. If you choose the contractor version of QuickBooks, they give you a pretty simple starting items list, which usually includes things like planning, foundation, framing, just a single category. We have found over the past 15 years working between ConstructionSuite and QuickBooks that category level of detail is almost never enough. We need to expand on it at least a little bit, and so what we push over to QuickBooks is an enhanced version of this default items list available through the contractor version, where we can expand on some of these some of the categories of work with some substructure in here as well to get better results out of the estimate versus actuals or the job costing tools available within QuickBooks. So this means that we do tend to break things down into what we refer to as subcategories, or in QuickBooks terms, they might be sub-items. But of course, in this case, most of this information is pre-populated, and we can provide some additional tools or time going through and mapping them to your existing chart of accounts. Now, of course, this is best done through the Add, Edit, Multiple List Entries section of QuickBooks, So as we start to put these items in, you can always come in and take a look at the service list. From the service list, you can go through and make vast changes quickly and easily because almost all of this information is available through drop-down lists. This means the accounting team defines what accounts we're going to use. We help kind of build out the items themselves. And through this tool, this add, edit, multiple list entries, we just go through and connect the dots. Whole process takes just a few minutes. Once that's done, you can save and you can save all these changes. All of the information then in QuickBooks is up to date, provides you with all the reports that you guys need, and doesn't require constant maintenance or journal entries to update your costs. Now, of course, this is a default set of items and a default set of accounts that you guys might create. For us, we also find that the vast majority of our clients tend to work in what we would refer to as COG style accounting, or you buy an item, you use it on a job, and then you get repaid by your customer for that item. This is a little different than what you might find for work in progress accounting users. They would typically require, or we sometimes would typically require, asset and liability accounts instead. These are also things that we're familiar with, so we can help provide this little bit of direction as well in working with the accountants for your teams. So this just kind of helps organize all the information. The nice part about this is the information is available online all the time, and as you're working with this, the accountants can step in and access your QuickBooks company files without having to give them an accountant copy.
I think something really interesting to point out at this time, Ian, is that this is running on a web-hosted computer somewhere in Virginia. So it is thousands of miles away from us right now, and there is virtually zero input lag at this point. I'm watching you click, and you can probably hear this over the microphone just a bit. As the scroll wheel clicks, we're seeing one-to-one, basically visual reaction to every single thing you're doing. Yeah. The performance is really unparalleled.
Yeah, although one small thing to correct in that case, this one's actually not the Virginia server like we were using last time.
Really?
I went with Oregon this time. We're located in Auburn, Alabama, so this is about as far away within the continental United States as we can run, and it's still immediate response time. But it's a great thing to point out. It does make it very different, though, than a lot of the other cloud hosting software solutions. We've actually decided against partnerships in the past because of that lag time, because you type something in and it doesn't show up, or because you open a program and you get no response until you click on it 3 or 4 times, and then you get 3 or 4 versions of the program, and that doesn't help. So with this partnership, though, it's tremendously fast. Not to steal words from Murph, but the whole thing just kind of blows our minds. So we're still really, really happy about this. I think it's probably one of the best steps we've had in a long time. So moving on with this, though, picking back up with the items and the accounts and the structure and all these things, all of this setup, my expectation, or our expectation, is that it's going to have to be a one-time thing, and then you guys are set up for success. Again, we want to provide as much assistance in this regard as possible. We're definitely looking for input from the accounting team as well. But as we kind of partner through this and make this information available, the team working in office, for like the construction firms in this case, you guys will have access to ConstructionSuite and QuickBooks anywhere you go, or just QuickBooks perhaps. Maybe you guys are just hosting the QuickBooks application with this. You'll have access to QuickBooks wherever you need it. If you need to put together an invoice for a customer on a job site, no problem. You guys can open up the customer center, go into the job itself. If you guys are doing progress invoicing, you can open up the estimate and generate an invoice from the estimate itself for different percentages perhaps, if you would like. Or if you're just doing a brand new invoice, you can always just go into and do quick invoices from here as well, which might just include an item or two. Again, depending on what kind of work it is, it could be maintenance work, it could be new construction, or it could be a remodeling project, or it could be something completely not construction related. Whatever it is, you can go into and put together invoices quickly, provide all the documentation for them here, even run reports and send them out via email or print them off, assuming, of course, you have access to a printer from the client location and you're not using your phone. I don't know how the phones print, but I'm sure it could be done. But all of this information becomes available on the move, on the go. It's also really handy because, assuming, of course, that the same people who are handling purchasing are going to be able to access something like this, meaning they've got some kind of a smart device or a connected device, they can actually put their bills in directly, assuming you've given them permission, of course. So no more taking pictures of receipts or hoping that the receipt comes back, or putting together all the job costing listings at the end of the week and hoping that you remember all the parts and pieces. In this case, you could just go in, put in a quick bill under the vendor center. You could even, at this point, attach a file, which could be the picture of the receipt. Maybe you want to keep the documentation there. It's a smart move. You can just add it in directly. And this all makes it available to you guys at any given time. You could just tie it all into the system, and it all becomes available from the palm of your hand. The benefit here is you'll be taking advantage of some of the enhanced features available in QuickBooks Desktop, except that we're making it cloud-based. So it's like QuickBooks Online, except that it's got the additional features there for QuickBooks Desktop, the advanced reporting tools and accessibility and things like that, but still the availability of the cloud. So we're kind of bridging some of the gap that a lot of our clients have been concerned with in moving to QuickBooks Online. And we're still taking advantage of some of the more familiar systems, some of the things that have or carry with them that the additional power of the desktop as we're working with it. So again, all of this information is available here in the palm of your hand at all times. But it's also going to be available to your accountant, who doesn't then have to leave their office to check in on the work that you guys are doing. Lately, especially, we're leading up into tax season right now, so I have seen God knows how many different accounting firms receiving the accountant's copy from various different people's QuickBooks and working through it furiously. Granted, it was more last month than this month, but working through it furiously to get all the information together for tax purposes and getting all that information sent out. A lot of our clients, the construction companies, still don't have those accountant copies back yet because, again, lots of documentation, lots of requirements, and it takes a fair amount of time. With these, you don't have to spend that much time on it, and you certainly don't have to try to keep up with all the different accounting copies. You just log into the server, take out of this everything that you need, and move on from there. You'll also notice that since it's all pre-configured, it makes the reporting process and the documentation process about 1,000 times faster. Also, for anybody working with the AWS system and UDA Technologies, you'll also have access to myself and my team of QuickBooks Pro advisors. So if you guys have any questions about some of the documentation or access maybe, you can give us a call at any time. We'll be here and available, and you guys can reach out to us as well. Even if you're working on behalf of one of our clients, all you need to do is reach out to us regarding the client. We can provide some additional instruction if need be. So again, all of this means that the amount of travel time that you guys are working with, or the amount of hours that you spend trying to organize information, gets cut down significantly. You'll also notice, because these applications are designed to run together on this server, that the amount of data entry time that a lot of you guys using programs like ConstructionSuite will be working in gets cut down substantially as well. For example, within the QuickBooks application, right now our customer center is showing two customers, two jobs. Let's get back to that here. There they are. So one of our customers, Jack, and another Shannon, each of them has a project in here. If we wanted to send over a third project, let's say lot 185, Baldwin Park in this case, this information could be pushed over quickly and easily to the QuickBooks application from ConstructionSuite, another program that we have installed here. And that direct connection allows us to put together the customer job, populate using all the existing items and accounts that are already there in QuickBooks, and now we're just going to be filling in the blanks for this estimate. No additional data entry time required. Now again, this is going to use the initial setup settings that you guys will put together for the ConstructionSuite application. I know different programs have different capabilities, but with the ConstructionSuite software, you guys can actually tell it to use as much detail as you need for job costing purposes, while still providing a simple chart of accounts so that we can get some meaning out of things like P&L reports, instead of looking at a profit and loss that has 500 accounts on it because something just sent over way too much information. Or maybe it only has 3 accounts because the people who set it up don't really know what needs to be on that profit and loss. In our case, we can provide a greater level of detail that doesn't overdo it. So we can kind of use that 15-ish years of experience to leverage this information and pre-populate the vast majority of it. This is probably why we've gotten such tremendous, well, I'm going to use this word again, such overwhelmingly positive response from a lot of the accounting firms and organizations. We went to Scaling New Heights a couple of years back and met with William Murphy, who actually wrote an article about our application. And that was his word. He said, in a word, it's the integration is tremendous. That was for Intuitive Accounting, I believe, was the name of his his magazine that he was writing for at the time. We also work with groups like QuickBooks Made Easy out of Atlanta, Georgia. We've got some partners through Remodeler's Advantage. I had the privilege of working with someone named Judith Miller, who was their senior QuickBooks Pro advisor, or the senior accounting consultant with Remodeler's Advantage there for years. It's an amazing organization, the whole thing. And Judith Miller had some really, really great insight on how a lot of the integration should work. And as it turns out, we lined up with it perfectly. So again, most of these companies, most of these guys who have been teaching, people I should say, who have been teaching QuickBooks integration for years and years and years, and how to set up construction companies, they use a lot of the same instruction or the same requirements that we have for years as well. So it's like a match made in heaven. It's a perfect blend for anybody who's just looking to adopt a new system. We already follow a lot of the, what I would call, common practices for this, and any accounting firm that you talk to will agree when they take a look at it. Now, some of the advantages that we also leverage here as we're going with this integration, ConstructionSuite has a two-way integration with QuickBooks. Not only can we pre-populate a lot of these transactions for you, again, like estimates, invoices, purchase orders, credit memos, or change orders, we also pull a lot of this information back to help with things like estimate versus actuals reports. So if you import your actual costs, and we wanted to take a look at all the bills and checks and credit card charges and paychecks and everything like that, you can check off whatever you would like to include, click OK to import all this information in as well, and it'll actually pull all of this detail into this job as well. Now, of course, in this case, we only just sent the job over to QuickBooks, so there's nothing to import. But as you go through and import actual costs, you'll also notice that the information gets saved, populated on your overview for a lot of your jobs. But more importantly, it actually comes back to and updates a work in progress report, which is always available for you in ConstructionSuite as well. Now again, these are all part of the QuickBooks integration features in the ConstructionSuite software, project management solution provided for a lot of our construction clients, which covers everything from lead tracking to estimating, scheduling, writing contracts, all of this information. It even helps track just general calendar activities and to-dos. It's kind of it's pretty close to an all-in-one application. We just partner with QuickBooks for the accounting side, and for a lot of our online communication, we work with ConstructionOnline, which is also an application you can work with QuickBooks. But these programs have tie-ins, and we do a lot of work with this with the numbers that come out of this. Now, the work in progress, again, this came about as a result of some of the partnerships with companies or organizations like ABC, a commercial building firm, and Remodeler's Advantage, and I think we had some NARI, not NARI, it was NAHB chapters who also needed some documentation like this. The idea with the WIPP report on ConstructionSuite's main interface is we'll help you track your estimated projections, any change orders that are coming through, your actual costs and your spending habits, and we do some comparisons with this information as well to show you whether or not you're hitting your targets. Again, we're tracking a slippage or grippage in this case to see if you guys are charging as much as you're spending, or to track, again, we've got over-under billings in here, we've got additional documentation. We even just, for some added bonus here, we track some of the scheduled work on here as well, just to help you guys better plan your spending habits. But all this information takes advantage of the fact that QuickBooks is here available on the same machine as ConstructionSuite. Even better, that machine is located, in our case, in Oregon, even though we are here in Auburn, Alabama. So again, tremendous speed benefits, availability. I think it was, what was the number that we were looking at for availability? It's
11 nines.
Yeah, 11 nines. I still love that. 99.9999 whatever it is percent uptime. It's a lot of nines. But the fact that it's always available and always accessible means that you guys can get to it from anywhere. Amazon also offers with this with the AWS services, they offer some really interesting, very compelling benefits too, like an economy of scale. Because they've got such a wide global reach, they're able to keep the cost of everything down. We pass those savings on to you guys, so we're expecting something close to about $600 per user with a setup fee. as our starting point for a lot of these services that we're going to provide. That's an annual cost as well. So we're trying to keep it in to be very competitive with a lot of the companies that you guys may already be working with. The difference, though, is we're a different style of company. We're the people who understand the software side and can provide the hardware side very easily, instead of being the company that provides the hardware side and doesn't really understand the software that we're working with. So it's a completely different kind of organization, and we're able to provide it at the same or better prices than most of these people that you guys might be working with. We also have 18 different regions across the globe that we work with, which has a coverage of, I think we were looking at the numbers, and I think the coverage is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 97% of the population of the world is about what we cover, thereabouts. And they would all have access to it. What this means for you is you guys can go on vacation and still work. If you are based out of Oregon and you guys decide that you want to go to the Caribbean for vacation, well, you have coverage. There's an edge location really, really close, which means that you guys won't even notice a performance hit, aside from the alcohol-induced performance hits, but that's not on us. You guys could also go on a trip to Australia. We actually have a lot of clients already in Australia and New Zealand using the applications. Granted, they're probably not working on QuickBooks. They would be using Reckon. We have Reckon set up on a few machines already as well. Some of them using Xero as well, which is cloud-hosted solution, but has some interesting tie-ins there too. So you could be working from those locations. I think that's probably our second most popular right now. Maybe you guys decide that you wanted to shift gears and go up to visit somebody in Europe. Plenty of coverage there too. Or maybe South America. We've got clients working out of South America as well. We've just brought online some of the services available in Mumbai, and I think we might be looking at the Tokyo area as well, which is interesting. A little harder for me to support in that case, but we still have great service there too. So it really doesn't matter where you guys go. You'll be able to access these tools and resources from anywhere just as quickly as if you were sitting in your office at your desk hosting a webinar perhaps. So all of this information becomes available to you from anywhere, and it's the same great access as well. The process of logging into the application couldn't be simpler. We have a quick little program that we make available. It's called AWS Connect. And the idea with AWS Connect when you open it is you can put in your username and password to configure the login, and then whenever you open it, you just need to click Connect. What we discovered earlier is you can actually have a few of these instances running as well. So if you are an accounting firm supporting multiple companies, you can actually open up one for each of them. It also, as you can see here, picks up exactly where you left off. So if you get disconnected for some reason, let's say that you guys have Charter Internet and they decide to do a little work on your area, which happened to us maybe a week or so ago. In this case, no problem. ConstructionSuite and QuickBooks and all the applications that you guys are working on are running on a server that's not located in your office, which means that if it gets disconnected from the internet, it just waits for you to come back. Literally picks up exactly where you left off so that you guys can get back to work. We also recently did some work to enhance some of the saving features available for ConstructionSuite and QuickBooks and some of the other applications in here as well. So even though the servers themselves do have a timeout, they still preserve all of your work and allow you guys to pick up where you left off. We set that up as well because we've got a lot of clients who are very much on the go. You'll find the same happens to us as well. Sometimes we've got so many things going on, we forget to log out from one machine and log into another one. In this case, that is also not going to ever be an issue for you. If you decide to log in from another machine, it takes over the session, or it can close up or wrap up your last session that you were working on as well so that you can pick up from here. Again, all of this means that you always have it available. You always have everything that you need, and you don't ever have to worry about power downs or shutdowns or brownouts or blackouts or anything like that. All of this information is saved on a regular basis. We even take it a step further to provide regular backups for the whole system on a very regular basis. Usually happens daily, sometimes multiple times over the course of the day. So if you ever run into a situation where, I don't know how you would accomplish this, but let's just say that somebody decides that they want to go in and delete everything on the server. No problem. It'll take us about 5 minutes to unplug this one, plug in your backup, and you guys can be back up and running in no time with everything exactly where it was. So once again, all of the data security is there, in addition to the great accessibility, speed, performance, and the low price point available to you guys through UDA Technologies. If you have any questions, or you guys would be interested in taking a look at some of the additional features or functions, please feel free to give us a call or send us an email. You can always reach us here at 1-800-700-8321 or via email at info@uda1.com. If you guys are interested, go to the website. You can also find us at udatechnologies.com. Let me get back to... Let's close these guys down for a moment, because we also have Google Chrome and Firefox and Edge and Internet Explorer installed on here as well. And there it is. So if you come to the main website, you'll find some additional documentation and some ways to contact us here as well. Again, most of the information is going to be right here on the main page. Scroll down and you'll find all the ways to contact us from here, along with several of the other applications that we offer at any given point. So if you guys do have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to us at any time, and we'd love to speak with you guys. For anything else, though, I think we are at the point where we can wrap up the webinar today. We've covered most of the topics and the content that we wanted to share with you guys. So if you have a chance, please reach out to us. Otherwise, don't forget, we'll be talking about a few additional AWS hosting options next Thursday around the same time. So if you guys have a chance to join us for that, we'd love to see you there. Otherwise, guys, I think we have borrowed enough of your time this afternoon. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate having you guys here, and hopefully we'll talk to you guys again soon. Until then, have a great night and a great weekend. Take care, everyone.